What's up YouTube, it's Ravlar here and welcome to the third episode of Knock Set from Scratch on an Ironman. So, where did we leave off last time? Well, I was AFKing at the LRC looking to get some gold bars for some Slayer rings I wanted to make in the future and just jewellery in general. In the background, however, you'll see what we're going to be doing this episode. I have a top secret plan which you will see come to fruition. So, as you can see, I'm in my player-owned dungeon. And yep, that's a hint as to what I'm going to be doing this episode. Of course, all the monsters that are there currently I will clear, as I am doing in the background, and we'll return here in a bit and you'll see exactly what I want to do. But first, I realised something after watching the last video. When I got my Bubbles pet, I didn't actually show you how I actually got to that point. It actually took a lot of work. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into a time machine and we're going to go back some time and I'm going to show you exactly how we got there. But yeah, here it is. So I hope you guys enjoy the episode and I'll see you at the end. So in order to get fishing and AFK properly, I needed a lot of the signs of the porter, or however the hell you say that. In order to make them, I could thieve, which I had been doing, but it just didn't stack up enough to AFK for a long period of time. So I decided to make my own, and that meant doing some divination. So I spent around half an hour at the Wildy Div collecting cursed energy and transmuting it into incandescent. And after a while, I made some diamond amulets and used that to make some signs of the porter. Which is perfect because, as you know, they bank the fishes as you catch them, so they're super AFK. And this way, I've heard that deep sea fishing is like very, very AFK. So I was looking forward to doing that. So I discovered something new when I was doing my shop runs, and that is when I was buying runes, I thought I may as well try and disassemble the elemental staffs. And to my surprise, even though they're like 1.5k each, they actually disassemble into quite a few powerful and imbued components. So that's just something which I'm going to be doing on from now onwards, basically. It's just buying out these staves every day and disassembling them. I'll add a few more powerful components to the collection. Before I started some of my AFK fishing grind, I wanted to actually do it somewhat efficiently. And what I wanted to do was to get a fishing rodomatic. And that actually required me to get some components. Now the account has the components, but as I said in the beginning, it's my aim to get all the uncommon and rare components myself because it is a from scratch series. So that actually meant I had to do some manual tasks. So I transformed into Underfletch for a second and I made a bunch of magic short and magic longbows. I disassembled them for some components and yeah, that was good enough for the ones I needed, the dexterous comps. But then I realized I actually needed some swift comps, and this was a bit more challenging. So I took all the adamant and rune bars I had in my bank, I made them into claws, I disassembled them, and sadly this was not quite enough. So I asked around, and a really good way to get these comps is to go to Taverley, and then go to the Rogue's Den, and buy all of them from the shop there, and disassemble them. This is a fantastic way to get them, so if you're ever looking to make a lot of fishing rodomatics, I highly recommend that you add this to your daily list. Now, last video I said that if there was interest, I'd be doing a daily shop run disassembly guide, and I am going to be doing this, so expect that in the next week or so. But I'm going to be spending a lot of time on it and making sure it covers everything. So it's really in depth, so it may take a little while to release. But yep, after I got all the components I needed, I finally made the fishing rodomatic. I then looked to make some tool gizmos and finally made like a really shitty honed 3 or honed 2. I don't remember, I can't find the clip. But yeah, I just added that and that was pretty good. The final thing which I wanted to get out of the way before I started fishing was to make a bunch of granite lobsters for their boost. And of course, because they are a fishing familiar themselves, they actually catch fish passively while you're fishing. So this is pretty much essential as well. So I went to mine some granite in the desert and then I made a bunch of those pouches. And at that point I was pretty much ready to go and AFK fish, and back into the time machine we go. Bzz, bzz, bzz. Yep, I got bubbles, and I AFK'd a lot, and caught around 1,000 sailfish. As my good friend, a friend would say, "Hello, it's me from the future." Is it the future? Or is it the present? I'm not sure. Time travel confuses me. So, as I was talking to you earlier about, I have a master plan. And the end results of it are on screen now. So, what I did was I went to the person by the chest in the player-owned dungeon, and it turned out I had 6 free Ushabti. Now it's really annoying because I can't find the footage anywhere, but you'll just have to take my word for it. And because there were no monsters here before, because I cleared them out and showed that in an earlier clip, it's pretty obvious that I did this the legit way. So anyway, I had these 6 Ushabti, and I was thinking, let me think what would be an awesome monster to put there, which would help me in this early stage of the account. So I came across a couple of videos by my friend PureTPCC, I think that's how you say it. Anyway, I have linked his video in the description below about spiritual warriors in the Slayer dungeon. Now, I went and camped these in the Zamrak encampment for about an hour. I got 4 souls, and I accidentally got a spiritual mage soul. Now, these monsters are actually flipping awesome, but I didn't really know how good they were until I tried them out myself. So, I put them in the small room at the very start of the dungeon and camped them for an hour. Now, these are fucking amazing because 1, they give you a shit ton of money. I'm talking about a minimum of 3 million in alks an hour. 2, they give you a lot of free God Wars components because each of these mages drop War Priest items, which are, of course, you can disassemble. And number 3, they drop a lot of potions, which is amazing. Ready-made, 3-dosed super attacks, super strength, and super defenses. Now, if you have a yak, all you need to do is just alcohol the rune items, store the potions in the yak, teleport to a bank, quickly deposit everything, use your Slayer Codex to teleport back, and yep, go again. Now, I was here in the shittiest gear, a Sun Spear, full Lunars, and a Salvami E, and I was destroying them. I didn't eat any food, my Enhanced Excalibur was more than enough, Penance was pretty helpful, and yeah, in an hour, I got this loot. This is with the shittest gear ever. Now, I've found ways to optimize this on my main. Now, I may make an updated guide for pure TPCCs, but specifically for Ironman, because this is at least, if you do it properly, not the way I did it, 100 super potions made an hour, 3-dose attack, strength, and defense, around 35 of each, which is epic because it means you save time on herb lore, collecting secondaries, and everything else. On top of that, of course, you get the 3 million alks, which is probably going to be more if you do it properly, and the free components. So yeah, this method is amazing, and it's perfect because I don't have the items to disassemble for God Wars Dungeon components, and this is how I'm going to be getting them, and the money is fantastic, and I need that at the very beginning as well. So yeah, here we are. Slightly unrelated, but there was a call in Iron Elites that there was literally a bot farm on a certain world at Cursed Energies, and because they weren't using the suck, that meant that someone could make a bit of money. So I quickly grabbed my main, went to this world, and literally massacred them all. Like, no one was spared. It was ridiculous how many they were, and I bet they were all from the same person, the same IP address. It's crazy, man. Jagex needs to crack down on this, because otherwise we're going to go the same direction as old school is, where literally more than half the game is probably a bot. But anyway, I killed them all, so don't worry, and got around 5k curse energy in 2 minutes. Now that's what you call good GP per hour. Sadly, it had come to the point where I'd run out of Fellstalk seeds, and I desperately needed them for some prayer renewals. And I desperately needed prayer renewals because I actually wanted to make some holy overloads, which would sustain me until I could get enough supplies to make as many supreme overloads as I wanted. But that was a long time away. So I decided to actually kill some dark beasts because they drop 3 Fellstalk seeds at a time, and that's quite a common drop as well, so that's pretty nice. And then I got to thinking, if I'm just going to be camping these monsters as it is, I may as well just try and focus on Slayer as well, because Slayer 120 is actually a thing, so I actually don't mind trying to get levels on that, and I'll get a lot of resources which will just be beneficial in the long run, so it seems like a somewhat efficient way to do things. And in order to set up for Slayer, there are a few things I wanted to get out of the way first. Now, the enchanted silver jewellery on RS3 is nowhere near as good as it is on OSRS, for Slayer, that is. Because the Slayer jewellery on OSRS gives you a 25% chance to either skip a target counting for your assignment, or to make it count for double, for whichever pieces of jewellery that is, respectively. On RS3, it's a lot less. I think it's 5%. I could be wrong. But anyway, I thought it's really important to get this because some tasks I would really want to extend as much as possible. So I made a bunch of silver jewellery, and a lot of it, not just the Slayer ones, the other ones as well. And I tried different places in the map to get the best amount of opals, topazes and jades per hour. And I tried a bunch of them. So the Lunar Isle, completely rubbish, don't go there, not worth wasting your time. There was one in Al-Kharid, which is actually quite good, but the only problem is it just spews out jades and not much else, and all the rocks are quite close together, so if you just need jades, it's pretty nice. The ones in the Calgurian Demons, they were pretty good, but they gave the higher level gems, which I really didn't want. So the best one was the Sheila Village, on top and beneath. You can teleport there with the Karamja gloves. And I mined a bunch of the silver jade jewellery, or whatever it's called. I then made it into the respective jewellery, nexuses, bracelets, amulets, whatever, and enchanted them. So now I had a nice stack for whenever I needed to start Slayer. Now, one thing I was regretting, and probably motivated me to make the ones which extended your assignment, was the Jungle Strikeworm task, because I went 3k dry on a Hex Crest on my other Ironman, so yeah, the thought of that made me really depressed. But I thought, this way extending assignments will make it that much easier. I also realised that I would need to mine quite a bit of just rune and stuff for AFK at some point, so I decided to make a bunch of lava titans, and in order to do so I needed to kill the obsidian creatures for the obsidian charms. I mainly focused on the fat ones because they were the easiest to kill and dropped the most. They also dropped some Tokkul, which went to my collection, which I would eventually use to recharge my Tokkul Zo, but not just now. And I finally made them, and yep, I have a stack now for a long time. I won't need to make any more for a while. Another thing which I realised I was constantly running low on was runes. Runes for farm runs, runes for alking, because, the spiritual warriors, they eat up so many nature runes, it's quite unreal. So, what I did was, I just did some rune crafting for a while. I made a bunch of nature runes, I made some lore runes, and I made some astral runes. Made a few K of each, and that should do me for now. And if you want to see how many I have, that's the bank. So yeah. It's just nice to be topped up and not need to worry about that at all. Well, boys, girls, and Apache helicopters, that's unfortunately all we have time for today. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I know that the Iron series is very highly anticipated, and I hope it lives up to expectations. Now, if you're not subscribed, and you would obviously like to see more of this series, then obviously please do so, and do drop a like, it does mean a lot. And also, I'm actually in a strange situation with this series because I'm so far ahead that I have so much content recorded, I'm not sure how to space out the episodes. Anyway, if you have any thoughts on that, just let me know down below, because it's a strange one. I plan on releasing 2 episodes a week. If you like that, well, let me know down below if you would like to see like a binge of like 5 episodes coming out at once, so you get back to where I am in the live game. let me know. That would just take a lot of work, but I'm willing to do it if there's an overwhelming majority that wants that done. But anyway, the next Iron episode will be out in around 4 days. I have a top 10 coming out before then. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm quite unwell. I don't know if you heard that in the series, in the clip so far, but hopefully I'll recover and sound better for the next one. Anyway, have a nice day, have a nice week, and yep, to the intro, to the outro. Do.